You mentioned there being some very sensitive subjects in this as well. Could you talk about kind of the writing process and how it was towing the line between the really heavy emotional things and the very funny kind of slapsticky comedy?
Yeah, and kind of naughty because I wanted to make a film. There's in France, there's a real big culture of, people. I feel like they say dirtier things than in most places. I mean, you don't see that in Emily in Paris, obviously, because that has nothing to do with the real French. But I mean, it's so like everyone's sophisticated and, all that stuff, which is not the French people I know or grew up with. And yeah, I mean, with my co-writers, I had two co-writers, Mathieu and Nicolas. We really, and also Leah then came later to work on the structure with me. We worked a lot on how to make this real. A lot of it is based on interviews we made with people, but to make it real, funny at times, and sometimes moving as well, because we felt it was important to really give people a sense that, this family is real. And we talked to a lot of Syrian refugees, of course, and that this family is very real. And I think it's pretty emotional when sometimes we talk about them, because they're going through also problems, couple relationship problems, parents, children problems. They have all the problems we have, but on top of it, they come from a country that's at war and they've suffered a tremendous deal. So they have our problems plus more bigger problems, emotionally and psychologically.
Yeah, and the family, those characters seem very grounded and very real, as you mentioned, but everyone around them is so extreme. Um, can you talk about maybe developing these characters, and did you work at all with the actors and kind of constructing each one? Because each one just feels so dimensional and actually kind of so extreme, but so real.
The French people, the thing is, being French, I can tell you that French people are not, they're very, I mean, they're crazy. No, but those people that I described, they're not far. I mean, I guess I come from a crazy family then, because to me, that's pretty much the norm. Those people are very normal to me as French people. I mean, my family was pretty intense, and they were torn between the left. My dad was left. The rest of a lot of the rest of the family was right to far right. So it was always an issue. And no, I don't. To me, they're a bit exaggerated, but just a bit. And I have to tell you, a lot of the things people say is things when we interviewed people they would say, like the thing about, certain preconceived ideas about like Syrians and all that stuff. Those things we fed ourselves from the different interviews we made with different people in villages. And so it's just exaggerated, but not crazy exaggerated. French people are pretty out there, and they say shit I mean, they're crazy. It's like, those characters are not completely a fantasy at all. They're very rooted in a certain reality, but it's a comedy, so you have to,
The scene with the birth, when the two men look at each other, when you were writing the screenplay, did you picture that scene and just try to get to it? I'm curious about your process in the screenwriting.
The script was quite close to what you saw, I mean, almost 99%, but it's true that finding the truth in that moment, I mean, it's a cathartic moment, right? And it's the moment where the men are facing each other, the women are facing each other, giving birth, the men are still facing each other, not completely done with their, maybe it's a little bit of a fairy tale in a way, because I wanted to give this energy of the two rooster in the village. And I have this thing in my head, though it might sound really weird, but that in a way the plumber is a little bit in love with that guy. He hates him, but the scene when he's like jerking off saying it's him and stuff, like it's a half frustration, half weird attraction. The guy is really handsome. He's the tall guy. I don't know. I had this weird thing in my head. Maybe I'm weird. But, I just felt like his competitiveness with him is a little bit of admiration also. And I think, and maybe a bit of attraction in a weird way, but that's my perverted mind maybe. But I just thought, that moment should be really about like those two women are fighting to give life and the men are still hanging up, to their to their shit, right? And I felt that was an important moment for me. And I like that scene. And it's messy and everyone's saying, push, push. I mean, it's like, it's a big mess of giving life and still resentment, but then you have to let go of it, because in the end, what does it mean in the face of giving life, you know? So it was all those things, but I didn't want to make it heavy. So I made it in a moment of comedy at the same time, because I didn't want to be, but voilà.
What's the dynamic of like acting and directing with your father, and how's that? Does it differ at all?
Is it difficult to do? Let's say that I always take my father in films where I speak French, where he can speak in French, but it is torture. And he drives me crazy. I'm always sort of mean to him on set. He drives me crazy, but he drives me crazy outside of set too. But I adore him. I love him, but at the same time, it's like, I always say, it's like directing King Kong. You don't know what's going to happen next. You don't know what he's going to do. You don't know if he's going to come on set knowing his lines. Now he has a bit of memory problems, and, he knows his line, but sometimes he doesn't care because he's like that. So yeah, directing my dad is something, but he's great. He's wonderful and he's funny, and he has so much energy, fun energy on screen that I can't help myself but taking him in every film I can take him in,
There is so much packed into the film, and there were so many different elements, including the score and the dialogue and the physical and nonverbal performances of the actors that contributed to that. And I was wondering if you could talk from your perspective about how everybody contributed and what you were thinking in the process as you managed building a comedy that has so much heart and soul and brain, even like cerebral thought that goes into it.
Well, when people agreed to do the film, and I had actors like the guy playing the plumber, racist guy, is a big star in France. The actress playing the drunk owner of the Sandrine Kiberlin is a big star in France, and they agreed to play smaller part because they wanted to participate to a project that did have, this comedy aspect, but also more of a, human quality to it, about about humanizing people we sometimes dehumanize, about all this that's at the core of the film, about racism as well, of course, and about how people, basically you can see that this man is scared of this other man. He's not even speaking to him. Like he's looking at him just like when they're like face to face, like a Western in that street, It's really, they have because they don't talk, they don't communicate. And I don't know, the actors, I was just so lucky that all the actors were just amazing. Like they were amazing actors that were ready to try something different. Also, the way I work is that I do a few takes and then I tell the actors, okay, now don't forget everything I told you and just do something completely different. Because I find that actors' instinct, and I was raised by two actors, I've been an actress since I'm a kid and stuff. I think actors have an intelligence that is unique to actors, about like, they understand the character better than any director or any writer. They understand it at an emotional level, right? It becomes something alive. They bring life to those characters. So their intelligence is beyond what a director or writer has in a way for that specific character. So I love to leave actor be free in a way and give them this possibility to try something else and to have fun with it. And I think sometimes the essence of what you see on screen is also that part. And also actors love to have this freedom at times because it gives them, a film is a job together. It's not just one big person behind controlling everything. It's really a teamwork. To me, that's very essential, to give everyone a voice, right?